Work safely at INEOS Phenol. Hello and welcome. You will be performing work on behalf of INEOS Phenol in our plant in Gladbeck. We look forward to working with you. Health, safety and environmental protection are key business objectives at INEOS Phenol. We expect your full attention and cooperation so that the work you perform on our premises does not pose any hazard to you, your co-workers, the environment or production. INEOS Phenol is a petrochemicals company. Our main products are phenol and acetone. These and other products our company uses are hazardous substances. The substances we use have properties that range from highly flammable to toxic, irritant, corrosive and hazardous to the environment. This is why our plant has stringent safety regulations. However, these are only effective when they are strictly followed. Now we will introduce these regulations in detail. General Work Safety Regulations at INEOS Phenol. After signing in with the entrance guard, you will receive safety instructions informing you of our plant's strict safety regulations. Following the safety briefing, you will be provided with access authorization, which will allow you to enter the plant site. In addition, you will also receive a safety brochure containing all of the safety regulations for future reference. Smoking is strictly prohibited on the plant site and in the production facilities, including in vehicles. Smoking is only permitted in specially designated areas. Safety helmets are not required outside of the areas marked in yellow. Alcohol, drugs and cameras are strictly prohibited. You will find areas marked with yellow lines or cordons on our plant premises. The layout plan clearly shows all of the yellow areas on the plant site. There are potential sources of ignition in the areas marked in yellow. This means that the use of electrical and electronic devices along with combustion engines is prohibited and requires special permission along with the corresponding precautionary measures. In addition, you are also required to wear protective equipment at all times in the areas marked in yellow. Safety helmets, safety goggles with side shields, steel-toed safety shoes and a closed chemical protective suit made of Gore-Tex or PVC must be worn at all additional times. Moreover, many areas require that you also wear personal protective equipment such as hearing protection, face or neck protection. Vehicles are only permitted on the plant site when they are required in order to carry out the necessary work. The entrance guard will provide you with a vehicle entry permit for this work. Only legally licensed vehicles may be used for personnel transport. The speed limit on the plant site is 20 km an hour. German traffic regulations apply here, meaning that traffic from the right has priority. Backing up and driving in reverse, for example, while turning around, are dangerous vehicle maneuvers and should be avoided if possible. If there is no way to avoid reversing your vehicle, you must take the proper safety precautions. The driver may only back up or drive in reverse when he has ensured that this action will not put anyone in physical danger. If the vehicle operator is unable to ensure the safety of others, for example using a reverse drive system, camera monitor system or rear vehicle warning system, he must have someone guide him. Remember that there are pedestrians and cyclists in every area of the plant premises. In certain areas there is also rail traffic. Please note, pedestrians and cyclists always have the right of way on roads located on the plant site. Rail traffic always has the right of way in all areas where rail traffic may cross the plant roads and sidewalks. Parked vehicles must not obstruct the flow of traffic or block exits, escape routes or emergency exits. Do not park vehicles or place objects within a 2-meter radius of emergency equipment such as fire hydrants and emergency showers. Let's summarize the most important points again here. There are stringent safety regulations which must be followed at all times to protect against possible hazards. Remember, smoking, alcohol and photography are prohibited. Never bring ignition sources into the plant areas marked in yellow. Always wear the prescribed protective clothing in the plant areas marked in yellow. Pedestrians and cyclists always have the right of way, except at intersections with rail traffic. Never block escape routes, emergency equipment, exits or fire brigade access entrances. Vehicle operators may only back up or drive in reverse when they have someone to guide them or a reverse drive system is installed. Sign-in and written permits for your work at INEOS Phenol. You must have a permit before you can perform any work in the production facility. Before you are approved for work, you must report to your respective coordinator and the control room. Certain potentially hazardous work also requires you to obtain a work permit and possibly other permits, for example fire, work permit for confined spaces, analysis permits, etc. Ask your coordinator for more information. A work permit is required as a written authorization to carry out work on pipes, apparatuses, pumps, etc. This authorization is provided because the production department must ensure that the plant is safe in order for you to carry out your work. The safety precautions outlined in the work permit and other permits must be followed at all times. You must carry your permit with you in work areas at all times. You must have a work permit for confined spaces such as containers, pits, shafts or similar areas. The permit is granted following a gas analysis. While working, the person inside the confined space must have a second person outside of the confined space as a safety watch so that he can initiate rescue efforts in the event of an emergency. Scaffolds may only be used if they display a scaffold approval permit. Modifications to scaffolds are strictly prohibited. You must sign out at the control room when you have finished your work. Work permits must be renewed or extended daily prior to resuming work and following an alarm. Let's summarize the most important points again here. A number of written permits are required to ensure your safety at work. Do not begin working until you have valid versions of all the required permits with you on site. Ask your INEOS Phenol coordinator or your supervisor for more information. In addition, always follow the oral instructions provided by INEOS Phenol employees. Remember to sign in and out at the control room. Work procedures at INEOS Phenol. Always use fall protection such as a safety cable when working at heights of over 1 meter. Secure openings in the ground and rails that have been removed immediately. Cover or cordon them off. Return these areas to a safe operating condition when you are done working. Secure areas where groundwork is being performed by putting up barricades 1.5 meters away from the worksite. Construction pits must be secured against falls if they are 1.25 meters deep or deeper. Following a hazard assessment, the INEOS Phenol coordinator will decide whether safety helmets must be worn on construction sites outside of the areas marked in yellow. Always keep the workplace clean and orderly. Housekeeping plays a major role in workplace safety. Tools and other items left lying around can pose an accident risk. Waste must be collected in separate, designated containers. Oils, petrol, solvents and other chemical substances must not be released into the environment. This means they must never be discharged into the ground, sewer or air. Construction power generators may not be installed without prior written permit from the INEOS Phenol coordinator. All electric and other operating equipment must comply with legal regulations. The first time you enter an area marked in yellow, you must learn about the workplace safety equipment along with the warning and restriction signs and escape routes present before you carry out any work. Plant emergency routes are clearly marked. Escape route plans are available for viewing in the control room. INEOS Phenol has taken a number of measures to ensure your health and safety. You will find emergency showers and eye wash stations with activation signals, fire extinguishers, fire blankets, telephone boxes, fire alarms and first aid kits with eyewash bottles, Lutrol bottles, respiratory masks and AIDS gloves in the production facilities. When opening an apparatus, container or pipeline, always bring Lutrol and an eye rinsing agent with you to the workplace. Your coordinator will supply you with these materials. Never bypass technical safety equipment. Report any irregularities or defects to your supervisor or your INEOS Phenol coordinator. Follow all work safety instructions. Never enter the plant areas marked in yellow without the necessary protective equipment. Let's summarize the most important points again here. When working, you must use all of the necessary personal, e.g. safety helmet, hearing protection, and technical protective equipment, for example safety scaffolds, barricades for construction pits. Learn about the required safety regulations and the safety equipment available in the workplace before you begin working. Report any irregularities immediately. Keep your workplace clean and orderly. Observe environmental protection guidelines. Important information about INEOS Phenol products. Only workers who are aware of the dangers and always know and plan what their next actions will be are able to work safely. Just like any other chemicals company, INEOS Phenol works with a variety of hazardous substances which must always be handled with special care. Phenol is a white wax-like compound at room temperature. In INEOS Phenol production, it's usually a colorless, melted liquid. It's easily miscible with water and is also colorless then. Phenol is toxic, danger to life. It causes chemical burns. Never inhale phenol fumes or allow it to come into contact with your skin.
To rig the tanker for unloading, an employee was under my supervision. When he tried to release the internal valve, it was stiff. It wouldn't move at all and there was leaking hydraulic fluid. He took the external cap off and we found solid phenol between the internal and the external valve. He put live steam into the external valve for approximately 3 minutes. Immediately, the whole load of phenol let go. The internal valve stayed open and did not shut. 50 gallons of phenol ruptured from the tanker. I tried to close the external valve and the phenol hit me. I felt no pain. I didn't feel anything until I collapsed. I collapsed within a couple of minutes. I went into deep shock within 8 minutes. My system started to fail within 12 minutes. My workers immediately flushed me with water, immediately, which was 99% why I didn't die. The medical people in Toronto, the only reason I didn't die is because they flushed me with a couple of 100 gallons of water right away while I lay on the ground. That's the only reason I survived. And I was supervising the employee and I was not wearing any protective gear. None, except for a face shield, safety glasses and gloves. I was not wearing a rubber suit, I was not wearing rubber boots. The employee loading the tanker was, but I wasn't. I had become complacent and careless. And the end result was I nearly died.
Cumene is a colorless liquid substance that is hazardous to health and the environment. Alpha-methylstyrene is a colorless liquid substance. It is an irritant and is hazardous to the environment. Cumene hydroperoxide is also a liquid. It is used here as an intermediate product and is a yellowish to orange colored solution. It is oxidizing, toxic and hazardous to the environment. When it comes in contact with acids or salts, it may react violently or even explode as it decomposes. Acetone is a well-known versatile solvent used in many products, such as nail polish remover. Acetone is a colorless, highly flammable liquid and irritant that has a narcotic, sleep-inducing effect when inhaled over prolonged periods. Acetone remains flammable even when mixed with water. Sulfuric acid and sodium hydroxide solutions, soda lyes, are liquids and colorless. These hazardous substances are highly corrosive, odorless and extremely dangerous to the eyes. Contact your supervisor and the specialists at INEOS Phenol for more information on other hazardous substances in your workplace. Learn more by consulting the appropriate sources. All of the necessary information and rules of conduct for handling hazardous substances, first aid and personal protective equipment can be found in the operating instructions, which were drafted in accordance with the Hazardous Substances Act. Please contact the responsible INEOS Phenol coordinator if you have any questions. Also note the danger posed by the radioactive measurements we perform. Let's summarize the most important points again here. Properties of substances used at INEOS Phenol range from oxidizing to highly flammable, to toxic, corrosive, irritant, and hazardous to the environment. Learn more about these substances before you begin working and observe all safety regulations. Important information concerning first aid at INEOS Phenol. INEOS Phenol has an extensive set of first aid equipment and a variety of first aid facilities. We also have a number of trained first responders. You can also use all of the first aid materials and facilities available in our first aid station anytime. Seek information about these resources before you begin working. If a chemical substance enters your eyes, immediately rinse your eyes for at least 15 minutes using an emergency eye wash station or with the help of a Previn eye wash bottle. Then report immediately to the first aid station for further examination and treatment. If a chemical substance comes into contact with your skin, you must wash your skin immediately with water or use an emergency shower. Immediately remove any clothing that has come into contact with the product. Avoid touching parts of your skin that have not yet come into contact with the substance. If your skin comes into contact with phenol, immediately treat the affected areas by alternating between Lutrol and water. Then report immediately to the first aid station for further examination and treatment. We have comprehensive knowledge concerning first aid for all of the hazardous substances used at INEOS Phenol. Do not hesitate to contact our experts for more information. Always inform your supervisor of injuries, even if they are minor, and have them examined and treated at the first aid station. The first aid station will also make an entry in the work incident log, which is important for you for insurance purposes. Let's summarize the most important points again here. INEOS Phenol has an extensive set of first aid equipment and a variety of first aid facilities available to you when working at our plant. Be sure to learn more about these resources. Important rules include: in the event of eye contact with any product, immediately rinse your eyes with water for at least 15 minutes or use the eye rinsing agent Previn. In case of skin contact with any product, immediately rinse with water and use the emergency shower. In addition, if your skin is exposed to phenol, rinse immediately, alternating between Lutrol and water. Always proceed to the nearest fire brigade first aid station immediately following the first aid measures on site. Important information on what to do in case of emergency at INEOS Phenol. Always report emergencies such as fires or accidents by dialing 112. By activating a fire alarm. By turning on the emergency shower. Turning on the emergency shower triggers a process control system alarm in the control room
Notdusche Spaltung 8 eingelaufen. Gehst mal bitte rüber.
and immediately activates the fire alarm system to notify the fire brigade. A siren is triggered in the event of danger. A siren indicates general danger. Whenever you hear the siren signal, stop your work, bring yourself to safety, and then immediately report to your supervisor. Do not leave the plant site. You must leave the production facility as quickly as possible if you hear a siren or if a fire brigade or production staff member instructs you to do so. Pay attention to the direction the wind is blowing and proceed directly to one of our meeting points. Meeting points include the area behind Building 1 and the area in front of the cafeteria at Gate 2. Discuss the location of your nearest meeting point with your supervisor in advance. Your supervisor will inform you when the alarm ends and the emergency is over. You may resume your work after you have contacted your responsible supervisor. Let's summarize the most important points again here. Report emergencies immediately by dialing the emergency number 112 or activating a fire alarm. Turning on an emergency shower will automatically trigger an alarm that summons help. Pay attention to the siren. If you hear a siren, leave the production facility as quickly as possible and head to one of the meeting points without bringing yourself in danger. Pay attention to the direction of the wind. Report to your supervisor or your coordinator at INEOS Phenol following evacuations and after leaving the plant. Do not resume work until you have spoken with your responsible coordinator. Those are the most important rules that you must follow whenever you work on the INEOS Phenol plant site. INEOS has summarized the extreme importance of workplace and plant safety in its 20 safety principles and 7 life-saving rules. We can only ensure health and safety and protect the environment if everyone strictly follows these regulations. Conscious and responsible action helps eliminate hazards. Strict following of these regulations will help us ensure the necessary safety together. Work safely at INEOS Phenol. Thank you for watching.